Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shannon Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology coach, and personalized learning coordinator for my district.
And I'm a producer / husband, Fuzz.
Hey.
Hello.
Episode 71.
Yeah.
We are here. It is very fall-like.
It is.
It is blustery outside.
It is very blustery. As we're recording this, the neighbors are having a bonfire with 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah, it's a
which
little
as a dad makes me nervous. But hey, you do you, as long as you don't do me by burning down the house.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's in the direction heading towards their house.
What are the odds?
Well, it's not been very dry around here, so that's good.
Yes, that is good. But
I hope there's lots of watering cans. Cool.
All right, yeah.
So yeah, it's a blustery evening here in Wisconsin, and a little chilly.
Mm-hmm.
Made some chili.
We did.
See?
We did.
So this week, it's gonna be kind of a short one. There's some tools that my students have used and quite a bit in my classroom lately, and I was like, hey, I've never actually talked about those. So here we are. It is an audio recording kind of week.
Okay.
I have kids use it for projects that they're working on in my classroom. There's always a lot of projects going on, but they could do kind of podcasts. It could be used as presentation. There's just different ways to use them. We'll kind of talk about some of those ways. But yeah, so that's our little topic this week. You've been doing a lot of recording here in our closet.
I've been doing a lot of commercials. Yes, I've turned our walk-in closet into a little recording studio. So since I'm working from home, I brought we have like a remote microphone setup that's different than what we do for this podcast. It's a little bit higher quality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's if you want me to buy more microphones,
I will
buy new microphones. Thank you.
I know. Just
everybody listening, you heard she said I can buy new technology.
No, we're good.
No, but I have a little stand-up studio in the walk-in closet, because that's if you're ever going to record a podcast and you're looking for a quiet place.
That's not your basement.
That will have really good acoustics. Typically, a closet that you can fit in will keep the sound from echoing and getting different kind of...
It's all those hoodies.
It is all those hoodies. Sometimes when we're out... Like we'll be at a trade show. Remember when people used to go places? There were these things called trade shows.
And they would have really bad coffee and dry pastries, and it was amazing.
Yes.
Anything to have bad coffee and a dry pastry.
Exactly. And so the sometimes when I'd be at a show, they'd be like, "All right, Fuzz, we need you to record a opener for this video or record this sponsor line or something." And a lot of times what we would do is we'd find a sweatshirt or a coat and we'd throw it over my head. And that way it kind of, like in a pinch, makes a sound barrier. It's not soundproof. It's not top quality. And sometimes you can
hear the sweatshirt rubbing.
But if you're looking to record or you're looking for a place to do something like that, I would recommend a walk-in closet with lots of clothes in it.
There you go.
Yes.
Laundry and all. Perfect. Well, cool. Well, that might work with these little tools we have today.
Or build a tent out of blankets in your living room.
There you go. Keep it interesting. So, our first site today is called SpeakPipe, SpeakPipe.com. And this is a very straightforward voice recorder. So you click start recording, you record it, it listens to it, and then it gives you the link to your recording. There's a 5-minute limit on this one, but my students use this all of the time. Mm-hmm. If they're doing a recording, we'll do a lot of recordings in my class, especially now because we have some in class and some virtual. That way they can do presentations without video. I mean, we use a lot of things, like Flipgrid, and Wakelet has some cool things where it actually connects with Flipgrid now, puts a video right in. But some kids want to do like an announcement, or they want to talk about their projects without being on video. And you don't have to download anything. They don't have to, you can sign up and sign in so it saves your stuff, but it's very easy to use. And, for example, I had a student, we did Wisconsin history projects where they got to choose an event or a place or a person, not a person, or a invention, and presented to research it and present it and everything. And one of my kids was like, hey, can I make kind of like a mock, like an announcement, kind of like audio, kind of like not a podcast, but just can I just teach you about my topic? And I was like, sure. And he sat there and taught me all about it and was recording himself. And then he's like, and then I made another one because I really liked it the first time. He's like, it's so easy. And I was like, cool. And I've had students use SpeakPipe before for voice recordings, just to share out information, especially because then they can email it to each other, which is kind of fun sometimes. I use Google Classroom all the time to post information, but sometimes you just want a little audio. And while there's a lot of different apps we use, this is one website that's just very useful for kids to jump in and record themselves. And they like to send little audio messages out to the other kids who are not in the classroom. And there's just fun ways to use it. So SpeakPipe, very easy to use. So you literally click the start recording button. It will record what you are saying, max 5 minutes. When you're done recording, you hit stop. It goes, here's your recording. You can either reset it or save on their server. You can put the name in there and save it. And then boom, it's saved to their little server. And then you have the link to it. And you can drop that link in anywhere that you need to share it. So that's it. All set, ready to go.
So it does up to 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times, if kids aren't doing big project, 5 minutes is a long time to be talking, especially if they're presenting a topic. So I kind of like that there's a time limit on this one because 5 minutes is plenty.
Yeah. Because there's a paid version too where they have more pieces. But
this is just very...
And if you're going to ever go with a paid version, I wouldn't recommend SpeakPipe because there are some other ones that are cheaper per month that are
there's more things to it.
Much more time and better bells and whistles. But for
the straight up freebie, 5 minutes of free talking. Yes. Also, something that's kind of cool is you can add this link. So if you're a QR code person, if you have a kid, let's say they've done a cool project or done some images or if they've created something and they want to share it out, what you can do is if you're a QR person, you put a QR code on it and then use the SpeakPipe link as the QR code, and then it can be the kid talking about the project when it's displayed.
Yeah. That's cool idea.
Not that we have visitors coming into our schools at all right now, but we've in the past done it where there's a QR code and then you could pull it up and then the student is describing their project that's on the wall. Yeah, and then you get the whole background of it, which is kind of cool. So there's lots of ways that you can use SpeakPipe. Because, again, it's this version, the free version. In 5 minutes, you never use that much talking. But, yeah. So that's our first freebie today. Hooray, hooray.
Hooray, hooray.
The second one, I know a lot of educators have started, I don't know if they've started using it, but I've heard them talk about it more often. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple students be really interested in testing out podcasting, especially with their projects in my class, because I kind of let them present the information however they choose to after their research is done. And it's called Anchor FM. So ANCHOR.FM. And it's, again, very easy to use. You sign yourself up. You create your own little account. And go through and you can make your first episode. You click, let's do it. You can record straight onto the computer. When you're done recording, you can go through and then they have your little library. So all your little recordings are kept in your library. It also connects to your Spotify account. So if you want to add music into your podcast or your recording, you can add music into there. And then there's even a little space for like messages and then transitions. So you can, they have little transitions that you can like drop in, like, 1, 2, 3 second kind of deal. Click save your episode, and then you type it up, you put in your title, you can put in your description and click publish now, and you can have your whole little podcast set up ready to go, which is pretty cool. Couple of things. I would definitely use it with older students just because it does like create a real podcast or real recording. Yeah. But if you want to, you can save it all. You can go through and have the students just record and save it if they're going to have and practice things. So if you don't want it all out in the open, you can have students record and keep it within their library and like kind of house all of their stuff together without publishing it. So that's another option too. But it's cool. There's so many ways that kids can record. They can create podcasts about things they're interested in. They can find, students to connect to. They can create, different issues they want to discuss, and you can distribute it. You don't have to. But if you, as a teacher, want to create a podcast, this would be an easy way to set it up. If you want to set something up for your students where you're podcasting to like teach your students or connect to your community or other teachers, you can even set up monetization if you really want to. So it's cool.
It reminds me, it's pretty close to Spreaker in terms of, but it looks like it actually has some more features that you can do to make your podcast content creation a little bit better than some of the other tools on Spreaker. So they have
to me, this one's just very user friendly. Like the way the layout of it is very like click here, do here. You're not hunting for stuff. It just,
and you can do blocks of audio segments and click and drag them around with their episode builder. It looks actually, now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of considering switching my other podcast over to this because it's free.
It's free.
But they also have transcriptions, which is cool.
Yes, it's very important. Yeah.
So, really neat. Anchor.fm.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. FM. We're on the
I mean,
radio
I've heard of
now.
Anchor before. I just had never played around with it until this wonderful podcast told me to.
See?
And I happened to be on the podcast at the time that I heard it.
And we've played around with it. I've just never talked about it, which is kind of funny. I forget. Like, I have this like long list of things I talk about on the podcast, and then I have stuff that I do in my classroom, and sometimes I'm like, oh hey, we've been using that for a while now.
Yeah.
Never actually talked about it, but hey, we should share it with others.
Yeah.
So just a few little audio things this week, but I know the kids my students at least, are finding other ways to connect. Some of them get a little burnt out from being on video. So it's another way for them to share information, and you can hear their voices, and just another way for them to create and share information, which to me is very important.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait till this podcast is over because I'm going to go buy those new microphones.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. Nice try, though.
Oh.
Good luck with that. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, visit smartnwi.com or join us on Facebook. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed in this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed in this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that the tools we've discussed will work for you as we've described, but we hope they do. And we'll talk to you again soon on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.